But we're going to finish this up real quick. So the Dave Ramsey Crew, our favorites, they're big fans of the show. They watch us every week, send us love letters. Anyway, they don't. Anyway, they're going to take their round to gloat because they're so glad about this whole thing. But they're going to gloat without gloating because they don't want to gloat. You ready?
No, but here we go.
Yeah.
Well, a big news hit just a few moments ago. Student loan forgiveness is not happening. It is official now. The Supreme Court officially struck down Biden's student loan debt relief plan that would have forgiven up to $20,000 for federal student loan borrowers. And Rachel and I put an Instagram story out, just kind of sharing the news and giving people some next steps.
In a meeting, and the texts were coming in that the Supreme Court had ruled this, and it was like, oh my gosh, because we've been talking about this for 18 months.
It feels like 7 years from the moment it was announced.
A long time. And if you've been listening to the show, you know that our number one thing for you guys is that we want you debt free. We want you out of debt. So we're like, listen, if this passes and you take advantage of it, go. That's great. If you have a moral conviction against it, then don't. But it's not passed yet. Don't wait on someone else, to make this.
See, we want you to be debt free, but is your favorite person, Rachel? You can skip ahead a little bit here, but
my favorite.
Yep. Well, but I mean, they're kind of. This is their sort of their. We're not gloating, right?
But we told you so.
All right. I'm not going to say I told you so, but I told you so. So here we go. We'll finish. I just want to.
Because also, you guys, we hate student loans. We hate this whole industry. It is predatory. These 18-year-olds sign their lives away, and they have no clue what they're doing. The adults in their lives, whether ignorant or believe something else, usher them into this. Like, the whole thing is frustrating. So we are against this whole industry. So we're not for it.
What's funny too is they always say that we hate the industry, but we love what causes it, right? Which is we don't put more money into public education, into college education. We took all that money out. We're okay with that. We never say anything about that. We never address that issue, but we hate the industry that's popped up around that because minority kids and poor kids want to go to college. Because you got to remember, her father paid for her college.
I mean, we all know why I don't. To say I don't care for her isn't even really appropriate. I don't find her to be a valuable source of information because she has literally no experience with any of it.
Well,
she's
none
never
of them
been
do.
poor. She's right. But her especially, she literally doesn't even have life experience to support even in her own personal finance journey, which,
Well, I
follow
mean,
me out in the comments below if you feel like it, but she's not had much she's had to go against or deal with.
well, no, but it's
so I just don't find her opinion to be terribly valid.
No, but it's true of her and her brother.
At least not to the rest of us.
Well, it's true of her and her brothers. I mean, all three of them, Dad paid for college. All three of them work for Dave Ramsey. Her husband works for Dave Ramsey. She never really had to look for a job. She never had to work her way up or earn anything. It's always been just sort of here, right?
Right.
And yet she's up here lecturing people about how they're going to pay their bills.
When I don't know that that's anything that's ever been a concern for her.
She never had to think about it. She's never had to think about it. And none of these people have any background in finance, so that's
what you want.
Great way to put that, Rachel. The big thing for us is we're not glad because people aren't getting help. We're glad that the will they, won't they game is over and that you're not being lied to anymore and that you don't have this false hope and that you're in control now. You can actually do something.
Well, who was being lied to? I don't get that. Did you? They never said it was guaranteed.
Their leaning is always that, like, the government is going to make you all these promises, but they're lying to you, etc. That's kind of that. It's that that's their sort of blanket belief on anything
Right.
that the government is trying to institute, is that they're like, here, we're going to help, but the Ramsey folks will claim that they're always going to screw it up, and so that's kind of the idea.
Yeah. So it's all just conservative jibber jabber at the end of the day. Well, let's look at their analysis of now what to do now that you're going to have to pay back your loans. Are you ready to pay up? This shouldn't surprise you. That's the name of this video.
Big news. People have been waiting for this. They've been worried about it, and it's finally official. Student loan payments will restart in October. Can you believe it?
Yes.
The game of will they, won't they is no longer. We can all stop wondering.
Jeez. All right, so I want to go back through the history of this, okay? This is from this article here that was by Andy Nova back in June 20th. So President Trump first announces the stay on federal student loans in March of 2020, right when the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
And then between Trump and Biden, the pause has been extended 8 times.
Mm-hmm.
It says here, nearly all people eligible for the relief have taken advantage of it, with less than 1% of qualifying borrowers continuing to make payments on their debt.
Oh, boy.
Number one, that's insane. I understand people pausing when...
Well, why is that insane? I don't understand that. So they're saying most people that you had the moratorium, right? Quit making payments. Right? Well, I mean, I wouldn't, in a normal situation, I'd make the payments and pay it down, right? Because I'm not getting any interest or anything like that. Yeah, it's a great advantage. But what would prevent people from making payments? Back in, I don't know, what was that thing that happened in 2020?
Well, an entire pandemic that made people not allowed or not able to go to work, or at least many of them.
Yeah, that killed over 1 million Americans. Yeah, that thing. Yeah, it's a wonder that's crazy. Why wouldn't these people just keep paying down their loans in the middle of a pandemic? Probably because they're more worried about can they get food. So
they're trying to keep their rents paid, their mortgages paid, their lights on, food on the table, and many of them weren't able to go to work in a normal sort of way.
Unemployment shot up to whatever it was, 30 or 40%, something ridiculous. I mean, yeah. Why weren't they paying their loans? John Deloney, 2 PhDs, working it out.
Right when the pandemic kicked off and everyone's got fired and everybody's like, hey, you can't come to work, I get that.
Okay, he got it. He does get it.
We've had the lowest unemployment in the history of the United States, and we've had job opportunities literally everywhere. And this thing has just been hanging over people. And George, you and I have taken the call over and over and over and over again. And for everybody else, you have, it's late June, so let's say it's the beginning of July, August, September. You have a 3 to 4 month runway to prepare for this thing. And George, nobody's going to do it. Everybody's going to wait until October and get so mad. Oh my gosh, this came, and then we got, yes, you borrowed money and you signed your name to it. You had to pay all yours off. Yep. I had to pay 6 figures of mine off. It's just what we did. We signed up for it, and now we're all mad that they didn't wave the magic wand to make it go away. And here's one more funny thing, George. If, let's say, Biden had been able to just discharge all student loans back when he wanted to a year ago, we would have already run up X number of $100 million nationally.
Because we didn't stop.
Because we didn't stop making student loans. So we didn't stop college, right? And so,
well, yeah, but that's the problem, right? That's the problem that we're trying to address here, is that college is too expensive. Why is it too expensive? Because we don't fund it. We're the only developed country in the world that doesn't do that. Why do we owe so much? Because we got screwed. Because the universities, it's not their fault. If they're not getting money from the government, they have to charge students. Right? Am I wrong? Where are they going to get the money from? They're going to have to add fees. They're going to have to add tuition costs. That all gets dumped on the student. And then what happens
Right.
is you have a government going, well, we'll let the students sign up on loans. Well, whose fault is that then ultimately? The government.
True.
And even then, okay, so what? We racked up another 100 million in student loan debt. Right? Okay. Can't we just forgive that too? If you could do it once, you could do it twice. So I don't know what they're
Right.
bitching. I mean, they're talking in circles. I mean, is it just me or they're talking in circles? It's like it's an insurmountable problem, but they've already told you the solution, right? Yeah. Anyway, we'll finish
So
up here
we'd
real
be
quick.
right back on the path to where we are right now. And so all of this is a big quagmire of a mess.
Yeah, I just looked at the recent numbers. We're at 1.6 trillion. And part of that is because nobody's paid off their loans in the past 3 years, so the number doesn't change much. It just gets added to. And the key here is, John, while payments restart in October, interest starts in September, which means your student loan debt will grow in balance if you don't do something about it. And so if I were you,
Which is true. You need to do something about it beforehand.
I wouldn't wait until September.
Right.
I wouldn't wait until October. I would start paying it off right now. Find out exactly how much you owe. Chances are life has changed. Your loans could have been sold to another servicer. So you've got to go figure all.
Well, you might not be able to pay it off right now, but what you can do is you can, like we said, you can go through one of Biden's programs. So work with your student loan borrower and just say, hey, I would like to get to income-driven repayment, or I can't pay right now. I need to have this deferred, or I want to get on the 12-month on-ramp program. You're not going to see them mention that at all. Because then they'd have to concede that they were technically sort of semi-wrong about the student debt thing, that Biden wasn't serious about it. So, are you okay or something?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just didn't have any particular thought about that.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we'll wrap this up real quick.
Pull this stuff out and get your head out of the sand and go, we got to make a plan.
And let's be really clear about what this plan means. And I think this is a hallmark of the show is we don't shy away from telling you hard truth, even when it's uncomfortable for everybody. If you are one of the millions of people who bought a car on some sort of 7-year note when cars were super expensive and you were able to make that loan work in your household income, not including your student loans, you got 3 months to sell that car. Period.
Oh.
If you bought a big, humongous house and you didn't take into account that you owe 6 figures in student loans, you're gonna have to sell your house because they're gonna take it from. You're gonna lose.
Jesus.
I guess I have mixed feelings about that.
Well, first off, if you're the hypothetical person that was able to take on these huge loans, but now you can't afford your student debt, I don't know. It seems like an unlikely pairing, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, you're not likely. If you don't have the income to support it, I feel like it's unlikely that you're going to get approved for those sorts of loans, because when you're being approved for new loans, they take into account the loans you have.
Mhm.
And I, for one, did qualify for a mortgage during the pandemic time frame, and they were wanting information about what my student loan payments were going to be once they resumed.
Right.
So like that, I'm saying that is taken into account when they're approving you for a loan. So that's on one hand. I mean, on the other hand, it's not necessarily the worst thing in the world to like literally stare in the face and be like, if I really am going to have problems making these payments, is there something drastic I need to do so something drastic doesn't happen to me?
Sure.
I mean, I would rather sell my own car than have it repoed. I would like if that's really
Sure.
realistic, because your financial situation has somehow changed and you're not going to be able to afford these payments. I'd rather be proactive and take the bull by the horns myself rather than have something
My
done to me.
my point on this is though is we're engaging now in a straw man argument, right? How many people of that 40 million that are going to now have to start paying back their loans? What percentage of them do you think bought a huge house and car that they can barely afford? And now they can't afford it to the point where like a 500 or whatever a month student loan payment is going to crush them. It's just such
like I was saying before, that number when you're qualified for loans. Granted, I'll say I think banks are willing to qualify you for more than what's maybe totally appropriate because they want to make money. But at the same time, they do take into account your other debt because they want to make money, which means they want you to be able to make the payment.
Sure, but my point is you're talking about such a negligible percentage of people that it's not even worth discussing. Most of those 40 million people that are going to owe the loans back are not making that much money. That they're in that position. They didn't go freaking hog wild during the pandemic because they could get loans. Ooh, I can get a loan now for a car, so I'm going to buy a $60,000 car even though I only make $70,000 a year. It's not happening. They're creating a hypothetical that doesn't really exist. Right? I mean, it would be like me creating a financial plan for a multimillionaire who can't afford a $300 a month payment. Okay, what does that look like? It's not a ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. It's not even worth discussing. That's my point. So we'll watch a little bit more of this, and we'll bogue out here because this is just going to get more crazy.
Lose all this mess. You got 3 to 4 months to get on this thing, but when we say make a plan, we don't mean like, well, I guess we're going to have to just stop buying organic grapes this month. For millions of you, this will be shapeshifter because you made long-term plans by borrowing money against a depreciating asset in a car, by buying a house you couldn't afford, with the idea that these were just going to magically go away. And they're not. They're not.
Yeah, everyone was under the illusion that they had an extra $400
hold
a month.
on. Let's pause right here. So I have to say I'm irritated by his commentary. Like, he's making jokes about, okay, I guess we're not going to buy organic grapes this month, but so like the judgment here is making me crazy because people can make the choice to alter their budgets in order to accommodate their student loan payments in whatever way they see fit. Maybe some people literally can look at their grocery budget and realize they can trim that quite a bit and get like half their student loan payment sort of figured out just by working that out. Maybe they don't have to sell their car. Maybe actually that sort of thing will be sufficient. They'll change their cell phone plan. They're going to trim their food budget a little bit, and they actually think that they can make that work. Why are we suddenly telling these people they have to sell their freaking car? Because, it feels like a damning them for a choice they made. And now this other choice to fix it's not valid. You need to like go back and see how bad you were by making the choice to keep your car.
Right. And we're ignoring the fact that you could potentially, depending on your situation, you could take the 12-month on-ramp program.
Right.
Through Biden, and then you can put this off for a little bit until you're in a better position or you can figure it out, right? We're ignoring the fact that you can try to get on an income-driven repayment program where this is more affordable until you can get into a position to figure it out. We're ignoring all the options. We're treating this like it's a credit card payment when it's not. We're treating it like you have to get rid of this. And that's not the case. The viewpoint is so narrow. They can sit there and gloat about, well, you're not getting student debt. Right? Even though we're not happy about it. We're not happy that that's the case. But right? And then they could sit there and go, well, but see, now you're really screwed. You're going to have to pay all this back, and you're really fucked. And it's like, but you aren't. You aren't. This is literally just like ridiculous bully behavior. I mean, it's just, see, they didn't go the way you wanted, so everything else sucks. Well, no. There's still other options here.
Yeah.
Right? That was kind of my point of showing that is it's just, and they don't, you notice they don't look at the financial options. They don't look at, well, like we went through them. Income-driven repayment, you know, you can have the 12-month on ramp. Sorry, there's some benefits with getting auto enrollment and federal tax, approved and things like that. So there's not like you're screwed here. You just got to figure out what the plan is. And if you can't figure out the plan, and for those who don't know or aren't informed, they'll at least be put onto a plan automatically, which they haven't talked about any of that. And that was kind of the joke about throwing them in at the end, is did they even really look at the court case or what happened? No. Did they talk about the court case? No. Did they talk about Biden's solution to that? No. Nope. They just jumped in and said, well, you're an asshole because you bought a car. So now you got to lose your car. You don't get to have it anymore. Just a punk kid on the playground, man. That's all it was. Anyway,